could be this fun, right? I mean, come on. We've got DJ Rico. We've got 90 plus Cellars wine. We've got Big Night Live. Oh, and by the way, we have Mel Robbins. It honestly doesn't get any better than this. My heart is swooning. I started this book club 2 years ago. And without our sponsors, we would be nothing. I want to thank every single one of them. Amica Insurance jumped on board. They love Mel Robbins. We're so happy to have them. 90 plus Cellars jumped on board last year. They're a local company, and we're coming out with the Lisa's Book Club wine in April. More details to come, but thanks to 90 plus Cellars. We have Joss and Main on board, which we love them. Their store is beautiful in Burlington. We have a lot of our events at Joss and Main. FindMassMoney.gov. FindMassMoney.gov, you need to check it out because you probably have money at FindMassMoney.gov. I had money, and you know who else had money? Mel Robbins had money. I'm not joking. Go back every 6 months, check and see. And I want to thank Gleem Beauty. You guys got some gift bags, right, from Gleem Beauty? A few of you? I also want to thank Big Night Live for hosting us. I want to thank the most important team to me, the Billy and Lisa in the Morning Show. Billy Costa is here. Justin is here. Winnie is here. Producer Riley is here. It's honestly the best team in the business. We have so much fun every single morning, and we have fun because we're connecting to all of you. We just want to make you guys laugh and have a good time wherever you're going. So thank you so much for tuning in every single day. I do want to thank Kiss 108, the marketing team. I want to thank Mel Robbins' team, which is the most impressive team I have ever seen in my entire life. I have learned so much from watching Mel Robbins. So as I said, I started the book club 2 years ago with about 60 people at Mystique at Encore. I threw it up on social, and you guys showed up. Never could I have imagined that we would be 1,400 people strong in this room. I started the book club because I wasn't reading, and I started the book club because I wanted to connect with our listeners, and I think that's what's been happening. So without further ado, please welcome the newest member of Lisa's book club, Mel Robbins.
Can you feel it? I'm alive again. Take back the power. Breathe it in your skin.
If you change your decisions, you will change everything.
Mel Robbins is the host of one of the top-ranked podcasts in the world. Her books on finding motivation and success have sold millions of copies.
One of the most trusted experts in the world on confidence.
New York Times best-selling author and host of the Mel Robbins podcast.
Life coach and motivational speaker.
Ooh, felt like I was in church.
The Let Them Theory. I know I'm going to be recommending this book to so many people in my life.
Let Them Theory. That's a good book.
I'm calling it now. This will be the biggest book of the year. Probably one of the biggest books of the decade.
This is by far just one of the best self-help books I've ever read.
Yes!
I can't believe it.
The most widely booked and followed podcast host.
The queen of grounded, science-backed personal development.
The New York Times best-selling author. Her videos have been viewed more than 1 billion times.
You are saying in these pages everything I was trying to say for 25 years, day after day after day after day.
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
The one and only Mel Robbins.
So I've been using this thing called the Let Them Theory. The next time you feel left out, your friends all go out to brunch together and they don't invite you. Let them. The person you're dating doesn't want a commitment. Let them. Your spouse does not want to do the 5K with you. Let them. Your company is laying people off. Let them. If you let them, people will then reveal who they truly are. And when they reveal who they truly are to you, you now know what you can choose next that's right for you. Let them. Let them. Let them. Let them.
Mel, 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 Mel. All right, here she comes. Woo! All right.
Holy shit. Holy shit. I can't believe how many of you are here.
You're like Taylor Swift. This is crazy.
Well, I got my shirts untucked. You know, because when you host a podcast, I don't get to see you.
It's so true.
It is so amazing to see you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being excited about a book. Wow. Hey, what seat do you want?
Yeah, reading's fun, right?
Yes, give it up for Lisa.
All right.
Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, should we sit down? What do we do?
Yeah,
I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We're sitting. We're talking.
Do we have any water?
Yeah.
Anywhere? I have wine.
We'll get you some water.
I should probably have a little water first before I start
All right.
downing this.
So welcome to Lisa's Book Club.
Oh my God, I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I want to tell a little story about how this happened. Can I, while you're having your water?
Sure.
Mel and I met like 15 years ago, and I know, right? Like 15 years. We were sitting next to each other at a salon in Boston, Mario Russo Salon.
Is that where we met?
Yep. And
Well, because I listened.
You were
when
listening.
I lived in Boston.
We were sitting next to each other, and Monica Ramezi.
Yeah, she's here. Where's
Monica?
Monica?
She is here. She's over here. She's right there.
Where's she? Oh, hi, Monica.
So she said, you need to meet Mel. And I said, I want to meet Mel. So I think you actually came on the show 15 years ago.
I did. See, this tells you how when you have anxiety, you have no memories.
But it's a true
I don't
story.
remember that. I was actually at the studio?
I think you called in.
Okay.
Because you were in New York. So now, fast forward 15 years, I start the book club, and I focus on New England authors, people that have a connection to New England. So I shot off a DM to you.
Okay.
Never thinking you would get back to me. And I said, hey, Mel, remember me from the salon? She got back to me.
Well, of course. Well, first of all, I had no friends, so I...
And the rest is history. She said, yeah, I don't have a book right now, but yeah, let's do this. And here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Well, thank you. And thank you for, seriously, like I know you have no time, so I appreciate you finding the time and making the time to be here. And I never thought about like how cool it would be to have a book club and a reading club at a bar, but that's a great idea.
And a DJ. Like this is,
wow.
Yeah, this is really fun. And that's why we're here, because all of these people, I mean, they're all here because they want to talk about something and they want to meet new people and they want to make connections, right?
You're my kind of people.
Right. I need to ask you something. So
Yes.
you've been breaking record after record. Last week, #1 podcast.
In the world.
In the
Move
world.
aside, Joe Rogan.
You just shove Joe Rogan off to the side. Just
Yes.
get out of the way. Out of the way.
Nothing against Joe, but...
No, out of the way. It's great. #1 New York Times bestseller, Audible bestseller, #1 on Amazon, record after record after record. Then you meet Oprah, and she says to you, your book is the best self-help book she's ever read.
Well, it's definitely the best self-help book I've ever written. So
out of all of these things, what gets you the most excited?
You know what I'm the most excited about is can I say more than one thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm the most excited about is that you're excited about the possibility of being happier and having more freedom and peace in your life. That's what I'm excited about. And I'm excited that in a moment in time where I think we all feel like things are out of control, or we're worried about people in our lives, or we're worried about larger issues, that you're still finding time to improve yourself. It's the best thing that you could do for your kids. It's the best thing that you could do for your partner if you're in a relationship. It is the best thing you could do for yourself, because if you're a little happier,
Right.
if you have a little bit more ability to focus, if you're not exhausted all the time because you've been giving your power away to lots of things that don't deserve your power, then you're in a better position in your own life to just achieve your goals, to realize that you deserve a little bit more credit, first and foremost from yourself. And I just think that's so fucking cool. And I don't swear on the podcast that often because I know that a lot of people listen with their kids, but we're at a bar, so all podcast rules are off. And if you're watching this on the live stream, then you're warned. Because one of the things that I also noticed that really fucking pisses me off, if I'm actually being honest here, is that the only criticism that we would ever get on our podcast when people would write reviews is like, I just don't like that she swears. And I'm like, is that why you're gonna ding me like this? And so then I'm like, it's not a battle I'm gonna fight because I would rather people not listen because of that than, you know, to real, and I can save the F's for you guys. But I'll tell you what, it is so cool to see you all. And if you like have something you've been burning to ask me, be thinking about it because we're gonna talk for a little bit, but then I'm either gonna come into that audience unless it means I'm gonna get swarmed, but I am going to be taking questions and coaching you guys. And if you have, fuck yeah, whoever said that. And all I'm gonna say is be careful what you ask because I will answer. And if you have any burning questions, I'm sure Lisa will ask a number. But you are welcome to ask as well.
All right, so I read the Let Them Theory cover to cover twice, okay? And I know you guys all got your books here, but let's go back. 2023.
Yep.
You released a video on TikTok about the Let Them Theory, but that wasn't where it started. It started with your son's prom. Right?
Well, probably started with me being a complete control freak and micromanager for most of my life, driving myself and everybody crazy.
Okay.
And you like that story? Oh, look at these Let Them t-shirts. Look at this. Okay, how many of you can relate to those moments where you're like, feel the emotion coming up and the words come out of your mouth before you can shove them back in? And you're like, why am I so upset about this? And you know, I'm just gonna state on the record, everybody, the reason why this has exploded. This is the single most successful nonfiction book ever released in history. Seriously. And the reason why this is so successful is this isn't a new idea. It's not like I'm the first human being that said, stop trying to control stuff you can't control. You're gonna be happier. I mean, this is something you know. This is the truth about life. And so whether you kind of hear this power of let them, Lisa, or the power, which I think the more important part is let me. Yeah. Let me remind myself that there are things I can do. Let me remind myself that I deserve to have some fun. I deserve some respect. I deserve to create some friendships. And so I'm gonna get to the story in a minute. I'm now on a roll. Sorry, we're going to church, everybody. So church with alcohol, my favorite kind. We're gonna start a new church. So I literally, this has exploded. Even my mom, when she read the book, which I was like, oh, fuck, let them. What is she gonna say? My mom was phenomenal. And she's just like, I love this. And then she said, in fact, I think this is my idea. And she said, because, you know, I've always told you, you gotta just let people be who they are. And you know the let me part? The let me part is pull up your big girl panties and deal with it. And so this has exploded because I am reminding you of what you know to be true. And it is the truth about how life works. And when you work against the rules of human nature and life, it just creates problems for you. And so, you know, I think you've probably, in hanging out with me, and I promise I'll get to the prom story, Lisa, because I'm like, is she gonna get to the question? No. But the thing that you probably know hanging out with me when you spend time either watching stuff that we put out on social media or you watch the podcast or you listen to it is I'm not bullshitting when I say I believe in you. I'm not. Because I know that the only thing that's standing in your way is that you feel a little discouraged or you've got a lot on your plate. And what I know about you, and I know about all of us, is that through your attitude and some simple, tiny little actions, you can improve anything and gain a little momentum. And I believe you're capable of that. And sometimes you just need somebody to remind you of that. And so, you know, I think this has exploded because that's all like, that's the heart of what we're doing in the podcast, in this book. It's just reminding you that you do have power, and that's why I say I believe in you. And, you know, what was happening for me is, you know, I've known this for a long time. I know I drive myself crazy. I know I control the wrong shit. I know I pour too much time into people's drama, but I hadn't ever been, does anybody else have trouble letting things go? Like, I've never been able to do that. And then I'm married to somebody who is so zen. Like, I don't know what your husband's like. Like, is he chill?
Yeah, zen, more zen than me, definitely.
Like, it's irritating.
I'm a control freak.
Well, and it might just be that your partner's not zen. They've just tuned your ass out because you're annoying, right? So there was just something about this moment at the prom where, you know, our son decided 2 days before that he was gonna go, which was super annoying because I thought that we were gonna not have to deal with this.
Right, because you have 2 girls, and girls plan months in advance.
Oh my God, so my daughters went to Dover Sherburne. And so, you know the drill in Boston. It's like there's a Facebook group where they claim dresses, and then you're like, what the hell is going on? And then, do you know how many fights we had in the Natick Mall?
Yeah.
About dresses and the lectures of, like, get something that's appropriate, understand the event. Like, you don't need a bondage dress. Like, I don't want, like, your dad's friends to think you're sexy, you idiot. Like, and so you know, the spray tans, and I actually had in a salon in Natick such a mother-daughter cat fight with our middle daughter, who was so effing entitled, you know, between the, I didn't have let them then. So I walked out and I was like, you're gonna have to pay for this and get a ride home because all the stuff that we've done to get here. So when he said we're not going to prom, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then 2 days beforehand, it's game on, and we're in the middle of, I think it was like in the middle of the, well, no, we're coming out of the, but he's like all of a sudden needs a certain pair of sneakers. I'm like, where are we gonna find a tux? Right. Next thing you know, he's asking some senior that he doesn't know, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, you need a corsage, and he's like, she doesn't need a corsage. And then I spent all this time, how many of you have been on Pinterest? You're like, I'm gonna get this corsage because I gotta manage this shit because I don't want the weird, awkward thing where he's the only person because he's an idiot, and he's like, you know, like, and he didn't figure this out, and I'm not gonna let him do this, and I'm not gonna get to that thing, and then I meet the parents, and like, come on, you can relate to this, right?
Of course.
And so we get there, and thankfully our daughter Kendall was home. She was the one that I had the drop-down MMA fight with at the salon in Natick. And we're talking, and we get there, and you guys, if you haven't read the book, there's this horrible moment where, you know, he's like, don't bring the corsage. I'm like, I'm bringing the corsage. You don't know what you're talking about. And I stick it in my purse, and we get to this, you know, those pre-prom parties where it's like the Oscars, you know, everybody's like got the things, and I'm thinking, I'm looking, our daughters, can we also just talk about the fact that the average 15-year-old looks like a supermodel?
Of course they do.
I had like a Dorothy Hamill haircut and buck teeth and braces.
Too. Totally. I'm so glad you had that haircut.
Oh my God. And so we walk in and we meet his date. She's lovely. Her parents are there. And she pulls out a boutonniere. I'm like, oh, yes. And I pulled out that corsage that my son told me not to bring. And I was like, hey, here's a corsage, you know, in case, you know, Oakley said you didn't want one. And as the words are coming out of my mouth, I notice she's already wearing one that she has made. And you know that moment where your family just energetically and physically disowns you?
Yeah.
You know, my husband doesn't like really drink, and he starts walking toward the bar at the kitchen island. And she was very gracious. She stuck her wrist out, and then things went to normal, but then it started to rain. And here we are. Nobody knew it was gonna rain. It's not a dangerous rainstorm, but it's like a rainstorm. And you got all these kids in black tie. They have no plans, which I'm finding out at this moment, because I'm like, hey, Oak, where are you guys going to dinner? Like, maybe you should wait. Should I call the restaurant? You know, because it's pouring outside. And, you know, the other weird thing is you're driving, apparently, which doesn't happen in Boston, because we're now up in Vermont. And he's like, oh, I don't know what we're doing for dinner. I'm like, wait, what? You guys don't have dinner plans? What are you talking about? Now, this didn't bother my husband. And so I now take it on as if I'm supposed to solve this. And these kids can't go outside because we can't let her hair get wet, we can't she's not even my child. And I'm trying to control her. And I just could feel that, like, oh my God, annoying. And my daughter reached out and grabbed me. This was probably a trauma response from the Natick salon, like, throwdown that happened. And she's like, Mom, you're being annoying. And I'm like, but they don't have any plans. She's like, let them. And I'm like, but it's raining. It's going to ruin it. Mom, let them. If he wants to ruin his sneakers, better drive by. Mom, if she wants to get, let them. It's their prom, not yours. Let them do what they want. And you know how, it's not the most complicated idea.
No.
It's sort of like that.
It's 2 words.
It's 2 words.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like that scene in Nemo where he's clinging to dear life and Dory's like in the belly of the whale, like, just let go, like that. And there was just something, there's certain moments in your life where a lifetime of wisdom and what you know to be true comes crashing down and just hits you in the forehead, and you are never the same again. And the truth is that in that moment, my shoulders just dropped, and I thought to myself, well, why do I care about this? And oftentimes, like, how many times have you sent one of those emails at work where you spend like 90 minutes because you're ticked off at somebody, you're like,
Totally.
and then you sign it like best. And then you hit send.
So true. It's Mel, everything that Mel describes is something that I've done, right? Or something that all of you have done. Every single situation. That's why everyone loves you. This is so relatable. Like, it's insane.
It's insane because we're all insane.
Right.
And like, it doesn't do anything except for get you worked up and make all your colleagues roll their eyes at you, right? Nobody replies. And so, like, I say this because it was really over the course, and for those of you, how many of you started using just saying let them and let me? Like, it's so easy, right? That you notice immediately, wow, I say this all the time. And it's like there's a secret lever inside you that you can pull that anytime, and this is what I started to notice, and this is what you'll start to notice too, is that anytime you find yourself annoyed, stressed out, frustrated, worried, hurt, sad, whatever, in life. Like, I'm sure some of you who were back there, as we were standing back there waiting to go, and you couldn't quite get us, I see you guys all out there. You're like, God, they're getting a selfie, but I can't get a selfie. And then you start getting all pissed off about something that's out of your control. Just let them. And it allows you to drop your shoulders. And what you'll start to realize is you always say it in regard to other people, because other people are really annoying. And life is annoying. And it's true. And it's never going to not be. But I'm here to tell you, and this was the huge awakening for me, wait a minute. Life and other people have no power unless you give it to them.
Right.
Period. And that's what it taught me, that holy shit, I have a lot more power. Because if somebody had said to me, you're very powerful, I'd feel like, I don't have any power. What power are you talking about? Well, when you finally have this tool to say, let them, let that person be in a bad mood. Let my mom, do what she's gonna do. Hi, Mom. Let my, dad, whatever. Let it snow 4 inches, in the panhandle today, even though this is my week to be on vacation here. It's beyond your control, so why give it power? And then this is the best part, everybody. The more you say those words, let them, and you recognize, okay, this is not worth my time and energy, the more you value it. And the more you value your time and your energy, the more you realize, oh my God, I have time and energy.
Right. It gives you the space to kind of just rest for a second, think about how you want to react to whatever situation you just said let them to, so then you can figure out what I want to do. Where do I want to be? And that's the whole thing, creating space and creating peace in your life.
Yes, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know if you guys have found this out, but I have certainly found that, boy, there were a lot of conversations that I didn't need to be participating in.
Yep.
Not every text needs a response. Not every meeting needs your opinion. You know, like the more you realize, wait a minute, like I actually do get to say what gets my time and energy. And then something really cool happens. You realize, whoa, the let me part is the best part. Because this is where I take control of everything. This is where I take responsibility and let, you know, as you guys have heard me say, responsibility is just the ability to respond. That's what it is. And I think oftentimes we think it's our job to respond, to take care of, to make people happy, to make sure people aren't disappointed. And when you realize, wait a minute, I get to choose when I want to do those things, a whole lot of power starts to show up in your life. And this is the part that's also annoying. You realize that your controlling nature has been stifling your kids and your partner because they don't actually have the space to be able to find their power and to be able to face their struggles with you by their side rather than you micromanaging every step of the way. And I'm talking to myself here.
And I'm glad you brought up kids because we have a lot of moms in this book club.
And dads. I see a bunch of dudes that are here too.
I've got 2 teenage boys, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of conflict when you're trying to parent kids that are teenagers going into college because they're trying to exert their own independence, but they're not really ready yet. So this let them theory is unbelievable. Can you explain how we can use it for this age group?
One big disclaimer though, everybody. The book and the theory is really about adult relationships. So it works with teenagers and young adults, but for those of you with youngsters in your life, if you flip to the back in the appendix, there is an extraordinary free download for you that is all about how you use this with parenting. And one of the things that I'm super excited about is that it was co-written by an extraordinary person here in Boston by the name of Dr. Stuart Ablon. So Dr. Stuart Ablon is a psychologist who has been practicing for 30 years. He's at Mass General Brigham. He's the founder of something called Think Kids. He loves the let them theory, and it aligns with 30 years of research, but there are important caveats when it comes to little kids. And so that guide is, because you know, you're responsible for the needs of children. You're responsible to help them understand and regulate emotions, which I did not do as a parent, which is why all 3 children are in therapy. And I pay for it in order to absolve myself of guilt. So, no, but I mean, like, there are things that I just didn't know. And that's the other thing that really drives me is like I've caused myself and people in my life so much heartache and pain because I didn't know. And if I can share a small thing, whether it's through an expert that comes on the show or it's through writing a book or sharing just the things that I'm screwing up or I'm discovering in my life, and it saves you or somebody that you care about, the headache and the heartache that you're causing yourself because you didn't know, well, that's incredible. And so with the kids, thank you, with the kids, you know, you're on the hook for a lot more. And obviously, when somebody's doing something dangerous or destructive or discriminatory, no, you don't just let them walk away. I mean, you can't stop them if they're already doing it. The problem with that kind of behavior is people don't do it in front of you. But the let me part is you get to choose how you step in. I mean, we've all been in that situation with a friend, for example, who's drunk too much. Well, the let them part's already over. They already had the alcohol.
Right.
But when it comes to whether or not they get in the car, that's where the let me part comes in. Do you take the keys? Do you deal with their irritating reaction? I'm fine. Do you make them sleep on the couch? That's how you stop focusing on them and you actually realize you have the power. And with kids, what you're going to find is, you already said it, that as they get a little bit older in high school, they're designed to push against you.
Right.
They are designed to test you. They're holding it together all day long for 8 hours. You're not even there. You don't know what's going on. And so when they come home, if they're kind of letting it out with you, that's a good sign, because they've been holding it together all day. And so Dr. Stuart Ablon, this I found to be really incredible. He has what he calls the with them approach. So you let them be their own person. You let them choose what sports they play. You let them pursue the things that interest them. You let them struggle. But the let me part is, let me make sure you know I'm with you. And the single biggest takeaway from him that changed my life, that I would not have written in the book without him, was you always ask your kids this question when they're struggling. Have you thought about what you might want to do about this? I just realized I'm turning my back on all these people over here. Let me turn this chair over here. I'm sorry. Hi, I see all these Let Them t-shirts. That's so cute.
Great. Yeah.
I love that. You should sell them. Go on Etsy and sell them. Yes. They're fantastic. Make jewelry. Sell t-shirts, you guys. Are fantastic. Can you get it on video? Go do it on, yes, you just got it on video. It's on stream. You guys can rip a copy of it. Back to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm chatting up a storm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were just talking about kids and just like how to use the let them theory for kids.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let them.
Let them. The other thing I want to talk about, which is a big part of the book, are relationships.
Okay.
Whether you're looking for one, whether you just started one, whether you're in one and you're not happy with what you're doing.
Uh-huh. I see somebody raising their hand out there like, that's me.
Yeah.
Was that because you're not happy?
Like all, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so fill us in on how we can navigate through all of these tough relationships.
So are you talking about a relationship with a romantic partner?
A relationship with a romantic partner.
Okay, so the book is divided into 8 sections. The last section is all about love. I also want to point out something. So I wrote this book with my 25-year-old daughter, Sawyer. I don't know, where, Sawyer, where are you? Where is she? She's hiding. She's like, oh, there she is. Soybean. There she is. And she didn't intend on doing this. She worked for Akamai here in Boston for 2 years and then saved up her money and went on a 4-month-long solo backpacking trip to Asia. That was a big let them moment for me where I'm like, I can't find her location, oh my God. She came back broke. And I had always wanted to work with my kids because I would love to see them throughout the rest of my life. And I think it'd be cool to have a family business, but my kids have always been like, absolutely not. And the prom stories that I've told are probably an indication as to why.
Yeah.
But so she gets home and she's really cute. I hope you don't mind me telling the story about how she literally made a selfie video the day she arrived home of her crying, going, I'm just so lost. I don't know what to do with my life. You know, I've made a to-do list. I've got to find my purpose, make money, stop crying. Like, stop crying was on her to-do list.
Yeah.
And so, and if you have a 20-something in your life, you know what a difficult decade that is. Because the world is so big and you think you're supposed to have it figured out, and it's so easy to feel so lost. So I said to her, you know, you need money. And I have this thing that I'm starting to talk about, and it's going viral, and I'd love for somebody to do a research project. I mean, I'm hiring somebody. I might as well pay you. And I said, and you don't have to work with me. You can work with somebody else on our team, so you don't even have to talk to me if you don't want to. And she dug into the project and never looked up. And we started to write this book together, and I want to tell you something super cool about this. First of all, it nearly killed us because we were living together and we were working on this thing every day, and we are very different people. I'm nuts, and she's very sane. And I am very creative, and she thinks in Excel spreadsheets. And I'm also 56, and she's 25. And so she was this fierce force to be reckoned with, because I would go like, well, I think I'm gonna talk about this story. And she'd be like, I don't care about that story. Nobody my age gives a shit about that. Like, you got to come up with a different story. Like, you got a different story. And so every single word of that book we argued over. And what I love about it is that it is applicable to everybody now. It is applicable to you in your teens, in your 20s, because we thought about you. And we argued about whether or not the stories that were in there, you would find yourself being like me. I'm the villain in almost every story. Yeah. Or the person who is subjected to somebody like that. And the other thing that happened is when we were writing the love section, so to get to your story, so we write the love section, and when it comes to let them, for anybody who is, so just give me a sense, how many of you are single, or you're still kind of like, I want to, or you're newly broken up, or raise your hand. I'm not going to fucking come talk to you right now. Okay, great. So I just want to say something, that the single thing that will prevent you from creating the love and the relationship you deserve is that you refuse to accept the reality of the person in front of your face. Right. That we are so eager to be loved because you deserve that, that we start seeing people and then you date the potential. Mm-hmm. You live in the fantasy instead of accepting the reality of the bad sex and the person that just slinked out the door like a stray cat in the morning. And then when they tell you they don't want to put a label on it, you're like, well, maybe that. And that's where this is going to change your life, because they're not the problem. People show you how they feel about you through their behavior. They show you what is important to them through their behavior. So if you literally are trying to insert yourself into somebody's life, or you think they've got a problem and you can fix it, or that if you just stick around long enough, they're gonna love you, or if, you just kind of, oh, well, maybe they'll do a little bit. Not everybody's perfect. I'm not saying don't Frankenstein somebody, but you have to learn to say, let them. Because creating the love and the relationship that you deserve, Lisa, it's about learning how to love and accept the person that you're with as they are and as they're not.
Let them show you who they are.
Yes. And then let me ask myself, is this something I'm choosing? Or am I choosing it and I'm up in my head going, well, I can work on this. Well, yeah, I could have used it too 10 years ago. Like because we do this with the people that we're with too. Like you're with somebody and you wish they were different. And just imagine the reverse, that the person that you're with is like, damn. If only Mel wasn't so menopausal and controlling and bitchy, and she wanted to have sex more often. But I'm dead serious about this. So it's the let them piece is really about you recognizing there's a human being in front of you. Nobody is perfect. Stop Frankensteining people into the got to be the perfect thing. And really, the book talks a lot about, is 80% of the stuff that actually is important here. Because if you got 80% of the stuff the person's loyal, you can be yourself around them, they're kind to you, you got the shit that matters. And let me tell you what also happened though. Should I stop talking?
No, I want you to talk. Keep talking. I still have more questions. I have so many more questions.
Okay, great. We're going to keep going. I'll just tell you this part, though.
Yeah.
Because I see Story standing there. So you guys, check this out. So we write the whole love section, and we go from being single and finding somebody, and then that part where you're like, I'd like to take this to the next level. How do you do that without being a psycho freak and too emotional? Well, I'll tell you how. There's a script in the book that is genius. You literally go to somebody, whether it's you want to move in, you want to get engaged, you want to sell your house and be in their house, you want to be exclusive, whatever the level of commitment is, and you say, look, I really have enjoyed being with you. This has been awesome. Lisa, really, you're really good in bed. She's really good in bed, you guys. So I've really enjoyed, you look embarrassed.
I'm just taking it all in.
So this has been really great. Like, I just love spending time with you. I think you're awesome. And, you know, here's the thing. I know myself. And I've gotten to the point where I only want to invest more of my time and energy if we want the same things. And I'm at that point with you. And so I'm at the point where I want to X. And if you don't, you know, that's going to sting a little bit, but that's okay. But I just know that, you know, I value my time and energy. And so I just wanted to have the conversation because this has been great. But if we're not on the same page, have a great life.
Don't we all wish we had this? Like
Yes.
30 years ago, right?
Yes.
All the bad relationships, it's insane. There's another part of the book that I want you to mention really fast is like if you're in a relationship with someone and you see, like you want them to change, like you're in a long-term relationship and you say that you cannot change someone, you need to make them think that it was their idea.
Yes. This is sneaky.
No, it's so sneaky.
Yes, it's so good, and it's science too, which I love.
It's incredible.
Okay, so check this out, everybody. What's the toddler theory? Oh, is this like the give them the shoe? Is that what that thing is?
Yeah.
Yes, she's right. She's right. It's the toddler theory. So it's sort of like that, put your shoes on, which is my parenting, versus would you like the right one or the left one? And then they're choosing. So here's the thing. There is one thing on the planet you will never be able to change, ever, and that's another person. People only change when they feel like it. And even when we're bossy as hell and we use guilt and we force our kids to conform to what we want, which you do need to do at times, they're only doing it to get you off their back. And so it's not going to be lasting change. For somebody to actually have lasting change happen, it has to come from them. And so you will never, ever, ever, ever be able to change another person because people only change when they feel like it. People only change when they are ready to do the work to change. And for those of us that have somebody in our lives who's struggling with mental illness or addiction, or they're just letting themselves go, or they got laid off and now they're like very depressed, and they're not believing in themselves and they're not looking for a job, like you would step in front of probably a bus to save this person. It's not gonna work. And the reason why is, you know, there's another line in the book, Lisa, that really just hit me. And it was from one of the experts that was on the podcast, and it's this. People only get sober when they're ready to do the very hard work to fade. Oh, wait, I got the sentence wrong. Jesus, okay. Okay. That was gonna be a profound moment. Okay, let me set that up again. Thank you. People only get sober when being drunk becomes harder than doing the very difficult work to face what you're running from. And you know, I have always been kind of like, well, why can't they change? And, you know, if I see it, why can't? And the truth is, and this like hit me to the core too, I want you to consider something. If you look at a classroom full of high school kids, who's the hardest working kid in that classroom? Yes, it's not the one that is getting straight A's. It's the kid who's struggling.
Struggling, yeah.
Yes. Of all of your friends, do you want to know who works the hardest on their health? It's not the one in the matching like set at the gym 3 hours a day. It's the person who quietly gives up on themselves because they don't think it's gonna work. They're thinking about it all the time. And so when we then step in and think we know better, it's really demeaning. Like, oh, you don't think I know that if I take a walk and eat a salad, I'm gonna be healthier? Yeah. Thanks, Einstein, right?
It's so true.
And so our attempts to help people and our attempts to inspire change actually doesn't create motivation. It creates resistance to change. And this gets us back to the fundamental law that we're talking about, Lise, which is ultimately what the let them theory is about is control. You have a hardwired need to be in control of your life. Your decisions, your future, what you're feeling, what you eat, what your kids are doing. And the problem for all of us, and I didn't know this until 2 years ago, is that when somebody else's behavior makes you feel a little worried or makes you feel upset, then your behavior now makes me feel like I gotta control something. And then I make a mistake. I go try to control you instead of looking at what I can do within my control about myself. And so here's the trick, though, that you're gonna learn in the book. Yes, it's true that you will never be able to change another person, but I never said you couldn't influence them. And so in the book, we go deep into the ways in which you do this. And I'm gonna just share a little part of it because you all have the book and you should really dig into this section of the book. And the first thing you gotta do, it's called the ABC loop. A, apologize. Because you don't realize that the worry and the gifts and the little suggestions, that they're actually annoying. And so, I did this with our son. Do any of you have like, kids in high school or people in your life in their 20s and you're a little worried about them, right? Okay, great. So not great that you're worried about them, but so, our son Oak, like a lot of kids, struggled in school. Very dyslexic, ADHD, just wasn't interested in school, didn't have a lot of friends at school. And so I, of course, was worried about him. And so what did I do? Oh, if I could hear him playing on the Xbox, because you know how they're up there like, oh, yeah, yeah. You're like, what is, I would go marching up there, and I would swing open the bedroom door, and then I'd be like, what are you doing? What? Oh, and I'm like, dude, like, you got school tomorrow. You got to get your homework done. As if he doesn't know. And so he's like, yeah. So then you see him take the things off, and then you see him pretend, and then what do? They're quiet when they go back to playing after you leave. And so I wasn't motivating him. I was creating distance, resistance, judgment. Because again, you don't think he wants to do well, and this is a huge shift for me. And it's why I show up the way that I do for you. I know you want to thrive. I know you want to be happy. I know you're doing the best that you can with what you got right now. I know that you want to feel like things are going your way and you want to have some wins and you deserve that. The problem is almost always that you feel like anything you do isn't going to make a difference anyway, so why the fuck would you do it? Right? You feel discouraged. And so that's how he felt. It's not an issue of willpower or desire, it's like skills and belief. And so I'm now pouring in more judgment on a kid that's already judging himself. Oh, fuck. And so when I started to dig into this research, Lisa, and realize I'm really screwing this up. The ABC loop is what the research and the experts say. First, you apologize. So for me, I go in and I sit down and I'm like, and by the way, my favorite place to have this conversation is not at a bar, because when alcohol gets involved, I'll tell you why not at a bar. It's because I get angry when I get drunk sometimes. Yeah. And then I start yelling and I don't, not a good thing. Yep. Plus then they're drinking. And plus my kids shouldn't be drinking. So
it's a bad,
a car.
Bad spot.
Yeah, you said a car. I thought you said a bar. Okay, sorry. So is a car, because, and there's research around this. First of all, the motion of a car actually opens up thinking. And the fact that you don't have to look at each other makes it less of an interrogation. And plus they're trapped, so they can't go anywhere. But so you're gonna apologize and you're just like, hey, Oak, I realize I'm nagging you a lot, and I'm sorry. It must be a giant pain to have me constantly on you. I am really sorry for doing that. They won't know what to say. And then you, ask open-ended questions. And I'm like, I never stopped to ask you, how do you feel about school? Fine. Oh, really? What makes you feel fine about it? I don't know. It's okay. So I hear you saying that you think it's okay. Are you feeling a certain way about how you're doing? Is it easy? Is it, I don't know. Well, have you thought about what you might want to do about it? Because that's all they think about. Right. Of course they've thought about what they might want to do about it, but you've never asked. You haven't asked your partner. You haven't asked the colleague that's struggling. You haven't asked your friend that you're worried about. You haven't asked your sister. I hadn't asked my son, because why would I? I think I know how to fix this. But when you say, have you thought about what you might want to do about this? There's this opening that gets created, and this is all from Dr. Stuart Ablon's research. You're now with them. And they're now, this is where the cool part comes in. They now feel more in control about what's about to happen. And then you got to do the hardest part for all of us, back off. Because it has to be their idea. The mistake I've always made in my life is we have these beautiful conversations and then I swoop right in and I'm like, see, I told you that would be easy. And now you're making them wrong again. So you got to back off. Give anybody in your life 3 to 6 months. And let me tell you a little story. Let's say Lisa and I were working together. And every day at lunch, Lisa gets up and you go outside and you take a walk and you come back and you're smiling and you look refreshed, and then you sit down, and meanwhile, I've been jamming the tuna sandwich down my throat and typing the long, pissed-off email, past. And then she comes in, and it's kind of annoying, because, she's refreshed, and I'm sitting here. This goes on for weeks. One of these days, I'm gonna look up and look outside and go, I think I should go for a walk. But here's the interesting thing about this. I don't think it's Lisa's idea.
Right.
I think it's mine.
Right, and then it's going to work for you.
Correct.
I want to bring up one more point because I know we're kind of running long
We are? What
here.
time is it?
I
don't even know what
idea,
time it is.
But this is so important because it kind of connects with what you just said. You say in the book that jealousy and comparison actually can be a good thing and work in your favor. And the story you told in the book about your friend's house and you went to the house and you were jealous of the house, I've had that conversation with my husband on the way home. How do they have a house that big? We're losers. This sucks. What are we doing wrong? Look at you. Seriously. But but you say that it's actually a good thing. It's a motivator.
Well, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good
So
at the time.
how many of you had the experience Lisa's talking about, where you go to somebody's house, right? And you're like, holy shit, their driveway's long.
Yeah.
And then you pull in and you're like, I've never been in a kitchen this nice.
Or a bathroom.
Yeah, or a bathroom.
Oh,
and
boy.
you have that feeling in your body where you know you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Because you know that your friends have worked hard for this, and you know that they deserve it, and you love it, and everything looks like a corner at Restoration Hardware. And you go, how do they have this much money?
Yeah.
And then you turn and you look at your partner and you're like,
it's freakish,
right?
That you wrote about this,
and
because
you can
I've done it.
barely contain your anger, and you've got this smile, and as the tour's ending, you're like in the bathroom because and you don't want to feel this way, right?
And because you like your friend, and you're happy for your friend.
Of course, but it's like your body is off your head is off your body, and now you're like, and if you're anything like me and Lisa, catty and insecure, when you get in the car, you turn to the person with you, you're like, what the fuck, why can't you? Why didn't you go into finance?
I know, why aren't you working?
Why'd you have to be a teacher? Why do you have to care about people?
It's so true.
My poor husband, I don't know how he drove home because he's like a turtle. He's like, are you done?
It's so true.
It's so true.
It's so true.
How many of you can relate to that story, right? Of course. Of course. And so, here's the thing, and everyone's like, okay, whose house was it? And I'm like, it's like 7 different people's houses, because there were so many of you at that period in my life. And so here's the thing I want you to understand. You are never jealous of something you don't want. I'm gonna say that again. You are never jealous of something you don't want. And if you're willing to go a little deeper under the emotion of jealousy, whatever you're jealous of, whether it's somebody's health or somebody's marriage or somebody's relationship with their kids or somebody's brand new kitchen or their house on Nantucket or whatever the hell it is, like, you know, that, are you jealous of that? People have that?
I have so many of those.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're like, yes, like incredible wardrobe, like whatever it may be, okay? If you go a layer deeper underneath the surface thing, there is something that is deeply tied to your dreams and values. It might be safety. It might be beauty. It might be having enough time to put together a nice outfit. It might be connection with your kids or your family. And for me, what's funny about the story, because it kept happening over and over and over again, and we were really like in the thick of it, struggling financially at that point, that what I realized, because of course I blame my husband, and, you know, I had this sort of feeling in life at that point that even though we were both working, that his money was my money, and my money was my money, right? And that he owed me these things that I wanted. And that's a very dangerous place to get into, that when you look at your partner or your parents or whomever and say, you're the person who owes me this. And what I'm here to tell you is, you actually have the power to figure out how to make more money and go buy that shit yourself. You do. And this is what I got in touch with. And it's that I had ambition. I had ambition that I was aiming at my husband. I had things in my life that I wanted to create. And I kept looking to him. Again, another example of giving power away. And so, yes, it was about a beautiful kitchen. Yes, it was about a long driveway. Yes, I wanted that playroom with the queen-size bunk beds that all the kids go to, and they're always at their house, right? I wanted all that because I wanted to have the house that everybody hung out at, and we didn't have space at our house. We didn't have a basement. We didn't have a playroom, and so our kids didn't do that. But it was tied to something bigger than a house. And when you have that realization that jealousy is a signal from your future self, jealousy is a signal from your dreams and your values. If you see friend groups here, like these gals in the Let Them t-shirts, or groups of people that had come together over there, or what looked like bottle service in that back, you know, area back there, and you're like, I wish I had friends like that, great. I'm glad you're jealous, because their example proves it's possible, and that jealousy is trying to wake you up and organize a level of frustration or anger inside you that you need in order to start working on it. In fact, the single thing that's required for you to change your life is for you to realize you no longer like the life you're in. And if you don't like your kitchen, I'm gonna tell you something. There's so many YouTube videos. Go to ChatGTP. How do I earn $20,000 so I can renovate my kitchen by painting my cabinets? How can I apply for an HGTV show and write a really sappy story so that I can get them to come and do this for me? Like, you are smarter than you think. That's right. Now, are you going to do it this year? No. It took me 15 years of hard work and screaming at my, from that night of screaming at my husband, why weren't you in finance? Because you're not smart enough. Oh, I was so awful. And so here's the other thing you can do. Let's say that you're having trouble getting pregnant and your friend is now pregnant. It is a sign that you're mentally well that you feel a little jealous. It's not a sign that you're a bad friend. And a good friend would say to their pregnant friend in that situation, I am really happy for you, and this is a really tough time for me, so I might not come to the shower, but I'm gonna send you a little something, and just know that I'm there for you. Do you see how that creates space? And it honors that the jealousy doesn't, like when I thought I was a bad person when I felt jealousy. I didn't know what to do with it. And you can have two things be true. You can have these feelings and then catch yourself as you say, let them have the nicer house, Let them have the better relationship, right?
And you say to keep those people actually really close to you.
Well, you're not going to want to.
Right.
Because,
but you should.
Yes, but tell them why.
Well, because it motivates you. It makes you, it reminds you of what's important to you.
Yes, and here's the thing. You see celebrities have all the things you've ever wanted, and you're not particularly jealous. But when Susan,
right,
who's your friend, all of a sudden has been saving and redoes her kitchen, like, you know there's no trust fund there.
It's true.
You know her husband's a teacher. You know nobody in her family died. And so she's important. It had to be her. And she's playing a big role in your life because she's waking you up to say, oh, that jealousy's trying to say, hey, girl, pay attention. You actually want that right there. And so it's time to get to work. That's right. She is there to wake you up. And so you can have the jealousy, and it stings a little bit because you recognize you've been wanting this for a while, but you haven't made any changes. And that's why I show up all the time like, I believe in you. Don't give me those excuses. Yes, they may be real. Yes, you may find. And I still believe in you.
Perfect.
What else you got?
I want to step away from the book for like 2 seconds.
Uh-huh.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and what's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my God. Best piece of advice I've ever been given. It kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is. It is the most powerful thing I've ever discovered. And I guess Kendall gave me that advice.
She did.
Yeah, so
And what's the worst?
Oh God, there's so much bad advice. What's that? We missed the best? Oh, the best was like, it's kind of a cop-out, but it really is let them. It is the single most powerful thing that I have ever started using. And I believe that this book that Sawyer and I wrote together is going to be my legacy.
Yeah.
And I get scared saying that because I'm like, shit, I don't want to get on a plane and have it go down. I got a lot more life to live, right? Like that would sell a lot of books, I know, but I really don't want that to happen. But it really is there to set you free. And I truly hope it does. And, kind of the worst advice, I guess, is just sort of like any advice that is sort of something that's like, well, that's going to be hard. Like sort of that cautionary stuff. One of the coolest things, Lisa, is just being 56 years old and like competing at this level and learning new things. And like when I think about the fact that I was 54 years old when I started the Mel Robbins podcast, and we taped the first episode in the floor of my closet with 4 of us women sitting on the floor because it was the only carpeted space in my house, and it wasn't echoey. And we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah, I've done audiobooks, but it's a whole freaking different thing to create a show that releases twice a week, every week with video. The team is almost all women. Like we do have awesome guys that work with us, but literally to think that a group of us were like, you know what? Why don't we just start a podcast? We can figure this out. And it was such a crazy success from the beginning that I am so blown away by how you showed up for this and how you show up for yourself. And we have grown. What's that? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I show up for you, and we got to keep showing up for each other. And, the whole vision of this was just, wouldn't it be great if it felt like a walk with a friend? Wouldn't it? Because when you and I go for a walk, like, you just feel better, even if the weather sucks. You talk about your family and they don't know about it. I mean, that's problematic on the podcast, but you share recipes, you share books, you share expert advice. If you got somebody struggling, you help each other through it. And by the end, you feel better and you got something to do. And so that was the simple vision. And look, like I'm a competitive person, but I'm not an idiot. I'm like, there's 6 million podcasts in the world. And most of them are celebrities or sports or like hot topics and news and, conspiracy theories, all that kind of stuff. And so I didn't think, like I thought it would take us years to break into the top 100. I know you don't believe that, but I certainly did. Do you know that we have grown for one reason? We grew because you share this.
Yes.
With people that you care about, and you see these episodes exactly as I had intended, which is a way for you to have a conversation or connect or help somebody else. That is how this has grown. That is why we are #1 in the world. Woo! And the thing that I will always do is I will always thank you for your time. And the reason why is I know you don't have a lot of it. And it's one thing to see a video online as you're scrolling, but I know every time you listen, you actually hit play. You choose to be there. And your time is your most valuable resource, because what you spend your time on is what your life is about. And so it is the deepest privilege and honor of my lifetime that you actually take a moment and hit play and invite me into your car or your home or on your walk with you. And every time I'm on that mic and every time our team is working on the edit, we are thinking about you. And you may not know this, but we have people on our team that scan comments and scan reviews and look at the inbox. And I have every email that we get, we read, and then we send an email to our team 5 days a week with screenshots of the things you send to us. And so every time you write and go, you're never gonna see this, I see it. Every time you tell me that episode with that doctor helped one of your kids or your sister or your spouse, I see it. And it's the reason why I get out of fucking bed. And it's the reason why I keep doing this and why I'm going to keep on doing this if you keep listening. And if there are topics you want to hear, if there are things that you want to share, I want to know. We are watching you, we are paying attention, and you're the reason that this is so good, because you care about it and you're a part of this.
Exactly. Your success, all of it, is deeply connected to all of you.
It's the only reason. Like I had never gotten press until October. Like if you Google the Mel Robbins podcast, literally you'll find one article by somebody that lives in Cape Cod who wrote a blog article who was like, wow, one of the top podcasts in the world happens to be in Boston. Who knew? That's the extent of it. And now we're everywhere because of you. And so thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking the time to listen to something that makes you laugh and that also is helping you remember something you know to be true. You're fucking awesome, and you're capable of so much more than you actually know.
That's it.
Awesome. And the only negative comments I'm gonna get for this live stream are, I wish you didn't swear. Let them. Let them, right?
Let them. When you're not Mel Robbins, what do you do to sort of recharge? Like when you are like, how do you recharge your battery? What do you like to do?
My daughter's like, don't answer that.
Oh, you have to.
She's literally, do not answer that. Well, I love my husband and I love my kids, and I have spent so long working so hard to claw our way out of debt that I missed a lot of high school. And not the prom though, unfortunately. And I missed out on a lot. And I wouldn't change a thing because I wanted to pay our bills. I wanted to get us out of debt. I wanted to feel safe. That was my highest value. So I really prioritize in my downtime actually being with my family. And this might surprise you, but I'm also, while I see everything, and if you see Mel Robbins responding, it's actually me. I'm usually on the toilet. True story, because that's when I have time. And Chris isn't like, put your phone down. Sorry about that. Or I'm commuting and somebody else is driving. It's when I really look. But I really am a homebody. I love to hike. I love to fish. I love to be outside with our dogs. A huge priority for me, because I wasn't kidding when I said I didn't have a lot of friends. I had really great friends when our kids were little, but then our life got turned upside down, and I just was heads down working, trying to address the struggles that my husband and I were having. And I really felt like, where's all my friends? And I'm not really making an effort. And so a huge priority for me in this chapter of my life is to make time for my female friends and to make female friends. And so that is what I do. I don't do a lot. I rest.
Yep. Do you read? Do you what's your...
Well, yeah.
I always ask the other, what are you reading?
Well, today, let's see. Today we had an expert on female friendship, which, oh my God, it was unbelievable. Amazing. All she studies is female friendship. And female friendships are completely different than male friendships. And the research is going to blow your mind. So I read that book. I read for the podcast.
Okay.
And, oh my God, Court of Thorn and Roses, fairy porn. Yes, absolutely incredible. A Court of Thorn and Roses. And if you really want a treat, listen to the dramatic audio.
All right.
Literally sound effects on fairy pornography.
We're adding that
to our book list. It is unbelievable.
Oh, I love this.
Yes,
We're
and so
adding
thank you to my daughter Sawyer for turning me on to that.
All right, Sawyer.
Yes. I like a gummy. It's legal here in Massachusetts and Vermont.
I never would have thought that.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh my God. My husband doesn't drink all that much, and it's not that fun to drink alone, but, occasionally I'll have a cocktail. Yeah. Y'all drink with me. We'll drink together tonight. That's right.
We all will. All right. Well, do we want to turn this over?
Okay, what time is it?
I think it's late, but I think we want to go out in the crowd.
Okay, I have time for a couple questions. And so let's turn the house lights on. Okay, can we turn the house lights on? Okay, hold on. Oh, right here. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. You guys stay in your seats. I'm gonna come around a little bit. Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. All right, come here. Come over here. Hi, what's your name?
Thyme Sullivan.
Wait, what's your name?
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, and my parents were hippies.
Thyme? Yeah. What a cool name.
Oh, thanks, Mel.
Okay, all right, so which question?
Mel, you have changed our lives with Let Them. And I was so excited to tell my family about Let Them. So picture us around a family dinner. My kids are 18 and 20. I tell them the prom story. My husband looks at me, deer in the headlights, because he doesn't know how to react and how I'm going to react. My son tilts his head, because that makes sense. And my daughter was like, what is her name and what is the name of this book? Because now we know what we're getting you for Christmas. My entire existence, this Let Them gets back in my face every time I say something controlling to my family. My question is, does your family do the same thing to you? Do you get Let Them thrown right back at you? And how do you react to this? Because it is...
Oh my God, I love you, Sam. Yes, Sam. Okay, so you hold that one. So does my family? Absolutely. And here's what's amazing. Here's what's amazing about it. We just went on a family trip. It was a bucket list trip to Peru for my dad's 80th. And so we've all been on these trips, right? There's 11 of you in a Sprinter van driving around together. And my poor nephew, one of them came with the flu, and so now we are all slowly getting the flu as we're driving down Peru. And it was the single best family vacation we've ever had. Why? Let them. Like if she's getting irritated about it, just let her be. And I hear my family going, Mom, just let her mom be mom. It actually healed. Sawyer, get over here. Let her, Sawyer. Come here. Ladies and gentlemen, Sawyer Robbins in the house. Give her a round of applause. I think you should explain how you guys constantly say at least your family's telling you to your face.
Right.
My family's whispering behind my back, let her, and then kind of bonding over it. Okay, why don't you explain how this works with families?
Okay, so, well, first of all, the let them theory fully healed our relationship. 100%, because, don't start crying, because I'm gonna start crying. Mostly because I think we finally were able to accept who the other person was and see my mom for who she is and also who she isn't. And what I love about the let them theory and how we use it as a family all the time is in conversations with each other. So we'll say, for example, I'm trying to let you be you in this regard, and at the same time, I need you to let me do this. And so it's in communication. It's also when she's annoying, constantly let them, which is every day.
I can completely relate. And adding the let me changed everything.
How did it change everything, the let me?
Well, I will tell you, before my family had the let them theory, when I would act controlling, my 20-year-old son would start to call me Barb.
Because that's a make wrong.
Right?
Whereas this, when you say let them, is an acknowledgement of who you are. Do you see that?
It has absolutely changed everything because the let them and the let me, and we're all using it as a family now.
Awesome, I love that.
And we the same. I've had the greatest holidays, everything, because everyone.
Awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well,
So
thank you for
thank
sharing
you.
that. You're welcome. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. I got one over here. Yes, over here. Come on over here. Red shirt, red dress. Yes, you. Get over here. Okay, we're going to let her take her time. Okay. All right, here we go. What's your name? Jamie, you get the mic. Okay. Hi, Jamie.
Mel. How are you?
Okay, good. What's your question?
Good. I actually have some bracelets for
Oh, you do?
Yes, I
Oh
have
my
them
gosh.
made. Yes, for
Let them. It says let them,
Yes.
let me.
Yes.
I hope you sell these on Etsy.
I actually got them made by Billy's niece.
Oh, Billy. You mean like Billy on the radio? Billy?
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God, Billy's niece.
And one is for Lisa.
Lisa, get over here. We got a present for you, honey. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
I just that, oh my gosh, I don't even know. My question is, how did you get yourself through, like, what exactly got you through to push through this whole book? Like, how long did it take you?
How long did it take us?
Yes.
A year. And 12 different manuscripts.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because Sawyer's a giant pain in the ass, and I let her. No, that's how long it took. And here's the thing. If you have a book in your heart, write it. If you want to start a podcast, start it. Stop sitting there thinking about what you want to do and do the damn thing.
Well,
because even if it never turns out to be what you envision it to be, the fact that you actually did it and you see yourself doing it, it changes what you think about yourself.
Yeah. Well, you've also made me fight for nanny rights. I'm actually going for a bill for a law.
She's going for a law for nanny rights. Good for you.
Yeah, you made me push for it.
Well, hold on. I made you. So here's the thing. I want to tell you guys something. I love hearing that something that I said or did or shared or some expert that I brought on the show has inspired you. And thank you for acknowledging the difference it makes, but don't you dare give me the credit. You own it because you're the one doing the work.
I got laid off as a nanny.
You got laid off as a nanny, and now she's going for rights with him. Good for you. Go get him. All right, we got time for 2 more. Yes, back here. Yeah, you, get over here. Come on down. It's like Price is Right, only you don't win anything. Oh my God, we got 2 people. Okay, yes, what do we got? Okay.
Well, hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
So first, one of my dear friends and neighbor, she is a mom of 4.
Yep.
She wrote a book. It's called The Simple Seed. And she asked me, because she couldn't get tickets, if I could give it to you.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'm going to let you give it to me.
So that is for you. And
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
she signed it. And then
Okay.
it's an inspiring journal for kids just to have gratitude every morning,
Awesome.
5 minutes a day, and just
Awesome.
help kids with social media and anxiety and all that.
Yep. All right, so do you have a question?
Well, yes.
Okay, give me the question.
Because of her, I know she passed along one of your podcasts to me. So
Okay.
that is great, like how you said that.
Okay.
We all pass. That's how
So
we get to know you.
what is the question you have?
Well,
oh my God.
So how long did it take you to impact let them on yourself? Because it's easier said than done. Really?
Yes. Yes. And there are days you're going to have to go, let them. And if you're going through something very difficult, like heartbreak or grief or a breakup, it doesn't take the pain away. It actually helps you move through it.
Yeah.
Because you're refusing to accept reality, which is why you're suffering.
You sound just like my husband.
I'm sorry. He's going to love me even more than you do if I'm saying the same thing to you. Okay, let me come up here real quick. Good job. Good job. Thank you for this. Okay, Sam. There's Sam right there. Okay, come on up. We're going to do a couple up here. Yes. What about you?
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Emil.
Hi.
The question I have is, what is one area in your life that you feel like Let Them hasn't been able to resolve or help you in?
There's absolutely no area of my life where let them doesn't work. And let me tell you why. Because it's about control. And the truth about life is that anytime you try to control something that you can't control, you lose control. You will feel stressed out. You will drain your energy. And so it works every time, because every time I say it, I'm like, oh shit, here I go again. I'm allowing that thing out there to infect me in here. So let them, and let me recognize, since I can't control it, I'm actually not going to try to. And then I say, let me, and you get reminded that you have 3 things in life you can always do. You get to choose what you think about it. You get to choose what you do or don't do. And then you get to choose how you're going to respond to your emotions. Am I going to send the huge email signed best?
Which I've done.
Which you've done. Thank you for being honest. We really appreciate that. Where are you having a issue in life?
Oh, I think I was thinking of it, I feel like the assumption that Let Them makes is that you know yourself enough to identify those moments when you say let them or let me.
But you're up here, your body tells you.
For
so
sure.
whenever you're annoyed or frustrated, that's when you use it.
Right.
Got it?
Got it.
Good job. All right. How about, yes?
All nurses,
Where are
thank
the
you so much. We use this all the time, and it is so powerful.
Why is it powerful? I can guess, but why is this so powerful as a nurse?
It is powerful as a nurse because we are, by nature, I think, controlling people. We have to ensure the health and safety of our patients. Sometimes we want them to do something and they won't do it. Or we ask them to do something and they don't agree with the idea. So sometimes there is no choice other than to say, let them.
Right, and then let's add the rude family members that treat you with disrespect and think that they're a medical doctor or a registered nurse because they've read WebMD. So on behalf of everybody here, thank you and all the nurses who take care of us and who let us be ourselves. I love you too. All righty, everybody. I think we're going to wrap this up.
We are going to wrap
Oh my God, I love you. I love you for coming out. And by the way, stay tuned because I'm going to make an announcement next week about something fun that we're going to do in the spring. This might not be the only thing we do in the live event category.
Big
I might
news
let
coming.
Lisa inspire me.
I love this.
Yes,
Big news. And you'll
big
come back
news.
on the show,
yes,
right?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Get your asses out of those seats. You're in the front. Get your ass up. Mwah. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Do you need me to come down and do selfie? Are we good? All right, let's do one more selfie with Lisa.
Okay, we'll do the selfie.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. I'll go down. I'm going to do a selfie, and then we're going to get Lisa. Everybody crowd in. Everybody crowd in. Hands up in the back, too. Here we go. Reach towards him. Tony! All right, you got us, Tony? All right, Lisa, get over here. Come on, Lisa. Comes Lisa.
Before we go, we raise money for Raising a Reader. That's why we're here. Here's Christine Ward.
Thank you so much, everybody. All the funds raised tonight go directly to support Raising a Reader Massachusetts, an early literacy family engagement program. And just as the Let Them theory empowers you, Raising a Reader Massachusetts empowers families to be their child's first teacher so that these children enter kindergarten ready to learn. Literacy is the foundation of all learning. Thank you so much to Lisa for bringing us all together for this wonderful book club, spreading a love of reading. And thank you so much to Mel, huge fan. You're amazing. And now for the raffle.
All right, get your ticket out. God, I need my glasses.
Okay.
All right, you read it.
God. 4923436.
436.
436.
436. 436. Boston Calling tickets. Come down here. You'll grab your tickets. That's awesome. Once again,